Welcome to Transformative Truths, quotes for learning, growing, and becoming. I'm Sarah Waldron-Brinton.
I'm Wally Goddard.
And you guessed it, we're happy to be here today.
Yes, we are. Can't help ourselves.
On this podcast, we really like sharing quotes, wisdom from people who have shared something that has made an impact on us, right?
Yes.
This week, I was thinking about a quote from a professor of mine when I was studying down at BYU, and I realized that something he said in class one day has really stuck with me.
Yes.
So I thought I'd share it.
Great.
So this professor's name was Randy Bott, and when I was taking actually a missionary preparation course, somehow we got on to the subject of something he did in his family councils when he would sit down with his wife and children to discuss what they were going to do that weekend or what activity they might enjoy together for a family night or something. He told us that he had a guiding principle, which was superior support of a mediocre idea is better than mediocre support of a superior idea.
That's great.
And I just love this concept, especially in the context of a family outing. He would sit down with his family and say, all right, we're all going to share an idea and take a vote on it. And in the back of his mind, he's going, I have the idea, the superior idea. I'm going to take this family on the most amazing hike, whatever. We're going to find all the signs and learn about XYZ. I don't know, whatever idea he had. And then most of the time, he'd find that the family consensus was for a different idea. Let's all go bowling and eat ice cream or whatever. And in his mind, he's thinking, okay, well,
it's not as good as mine.
It's not as good as my idea, but I guess we'll do it. And what he found was that instead of forcing the family to do whatever he thought was awesome, if he listened to what the others thought was a great idea, they ended up having a more enriching family outing.
Yes. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe looking for the enthusiasm, looking for where the energy is, instead of trying to force our preference on other people, try to notice where's the excitement and follow that.
This reminds me of a story I've heard you tell before about a boy who wanted to watch some ducks.
Oh, yeah. Well, it started in a geometry class I was teaching many years ago. One day after class, a student named Scott came up and he said, Wally, I love to go up to Staniker Lake and just crawl through the marsh and just watch the ducks, watch them paddle around and quack. And I just love that. He said, do you want to go with me Saturday at 6 a.m.? Now, I don't know what you usually do Saturdays at 6 p.m., but why not? Why not? That's one of our family mottos. Why not? So I went with Scott, and with his permission, I took cameras and we took pictures of the ducks. And I loved watching the ducks, but even more, I loved watching Scott. He was so excited to see the ducks, and he loved them and loves watching them and studying them. It was some months later, again, after geometry class, that Scott came up and he said, Wally, guess what? My dad has invited me to go big game hunting with him and some of his friends. And he's arranged this cabin in Montana and horses and guides, and it's going to be a big deal. And I said, Scott, you must be so excited. And that question made him reflect. He said, I don't know. I think I'd rather have my dad go with me and watch the ducks. And I thought, oh, yeah, Dad was excited about big game hunting, but he hadn't quite tuned into Scott, had he? Because what Scott wanted was to just have his dad follow him, join him on something that was important to him.
Wow. Sometimes we get so interested or caught up in our own brilliant ideas, don't we, that
we do.
That we maybe aren't seeing those bids for connection, those cues from the people around us. So on Sunday, I was sitting in my room, probably nursing my baby David. My kids think that's all I do. And it kind of is true. But I was sitting there with David, and in bounds my little 5-year-old Bonnie with a folded up card that she's decorated. And on the inside, she's written me a note. Now, she can't read or write on her own yet, but she does know all of her letters. And so in order to make this happen, she probably spent about 15 minutes with her big brother, Arthur, saying, how do you spell hi? How do you spell mommy? How do you spell I love you? And a lot of effort went into this, I could tell. So I opened the note and she's bouncing all around and it says, hi, mommy, I love you. Will you play outside with me? And I set down my phone or whatever I was doing and I said, yeah, let's go play outside. And that wasn't exactly what I had been planning in that moment. But boy, we had a great time. We
man.
scrambled up the hill. We can get up to the mountain from our house. And so we just scrambled up the mountain. We showed David a robin. We just had a great time. We went outside. And I was really glad that I had the presence of mind to just say yes. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? We can go outside.
Why not?
We're not always going to get a handwritten letter with what our kid wants to do. That was pretty unique.
Yeah.
So it kind of reminded me that maybe I could stop and listen in more spheres of my life and just consider someone else's ideas.
I love that. I bet Bonnie was absolutely delighted.
She was. It was great. We had a great time outside. This morning it was, Mommy, can we bake a cake? The first thing I do when I wake up is think, what I want to do is bake a cake right now. And we had one or two other things we had to do in order to go along with our day. But I wonder if instead of thinking, oh, no, we definitely can't bake a cake, maybe I could, okay, we could put that in our calendar. We can't bake a cake right now, but tomorrow you don't have preschool. So what if we bake a cake? Something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm still working on it. And Arthur, the first thing he wanted to do this morning was find some sort of obscure, is there a store that sells such and such chemical so I can make such and such scientific experiment? And so I don't know, maybe it's not always as simple as walking and seeing the ducks or going outside, but if we can play into, especially with children, I see you're really interested in baking or you're really interested in science. Maybe we could, in the afternoon, we've got an hour between piano and whatever else we need to do. Maybe we could do science then.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You mix a little baking soda with some vinegar and watch it fizz.
See what it does. See what kind of, throw some food coloring in there if we're feeling crazy. But I think the main thing that I draw from this idea from Brother Bott is the wisdom of listening and noticing the needs of those around us. And
love it.
Maybe we can incorporate that into our week somehow.
Yeah, we can really listen, notice, respond to the enthusiasm of the people around us.
Instead of buying them whatever my favorite ice cream is, think, no, I really want lemon custard, but I think Bonnie just wants plain vanilla.
And anyway. I think there's a cake in your future.
I think there's a cake. Come on over for some cake at my house. So thanks for joining us today. We hope that this idea brings something special to your week with those you love.
Yes. Have a great week.
We'll see you next time.
We hope that some of the quotes we share are meaningful to you and something maybe you'd like to add to your personal collection. If so, go to drwally.com and look under Transformative Truths podcast, and all the quotes as we broadcast them will be available to you to cut and paste into your collection.